Mr. Vaughn, I'll give this a shot because it's you, pal. And then I finished the first issue and I was like, hey, Dara, we have a new book series to read. Isn't that fun?
So, there you go.
My wife reads it too. She loves it.
Excelsior!
Saga is still going. Everybody, please.
Oh my God.
Please read Saga.
What's Saga?
If there's one comic book you are just ever going to read, let it be Saga. For real.
Is that DC, Marvel, Independent? What's
That's
Image.
Image.
Brian K. Vaughan
and Fiona Staples.
It's a sci-fi fantasy.
New storyline, new characters?
About 5 years, 7 years.
Yeah, well, they took a 2-year break in between the middle of the series.
Yeah.
They said from the onset that this whole series is going to be 108 issues, and they stopped at issue 54 and took a couple of years off, and then they just started back up again in the beginning of this year.
And it's just as great as we remember.
Yeah, it's a sci-fi fantasy epic, a saga, and holy shit! I bought it because I like Brian K. Vaughan. I've read several books by him, and he's yet to disappoint me. And I did pick it up a little cautiously. I was like, all right, Mr. Vaughn, I'll give this a shot because it's you, pal. And then I finished the first issue and I was like, hey, Dara, we have a new book series to read. Isn't that fun? So,
there you go.
My wife reads it too. She loves it.
And fun fact, Brian K. Vaughan did some work in the Ultimate Universe. So it's part of what we're going to discuss tonight.
And I was we for once actually had this story picked at the end of last episode. And
nice.
I breezed through this storyline. It was a great storyline. But in being excited about reading the Hulk, I got interested in checking out the Maestro miniseries that have come out over the last couple of years.
That's the Peter David movie, right?
Yeah, Peter David, who crafts a great story and sort of origin and back story to the whole Maestro Future Imperfect series. And at the end of that third series,
it's not Maestro.
Maestro. It's Maestro. I always say Maestro. I don't know why I do that. Heather was making fun of me last night.
Okay.
At the end of the third series, it ties back to the beginning of Future Imperfect. So Peter David, wow, brilliant.
I like for Future Imperfect.
Well,
I highly suggest reading those three. It's Maestro.
Love those books.
Maestro. Fine, Maestro.
I'm just saying because you say Maestro.
Sister Mary Francis, say the word.
You know what?
Well, in the stories, they also have the UFOs and have this it's UFOs. I'm like, no, this group was called the UFOs.
It's true. The UFOs.
It's true.
He's like, I'll have some quesadillas. What?
You mean a quesadilla, sir?
Well, the definite running joke is we're butchering names. We're butchering everything tonight.
Oh, we lost the host.
Oh, no. We lost powerful Brandon. Look how powerful he is. Back just like that.
Oh, that was me. Okay, what the deuce? To me, it looked like all of you. Yikes.
But no, I agree with you, Rich. Future Imperfect was a great storyline. I mean, 2 issues, and him and George Perez just nailed it. And anytime you've seen Maestro, and the best part is we've seen different versions of him throughout Marvel. Like there was one version that showed up in Spider-Man 2099. There was another one that showed up in the Old Man Logan storyline. He's a great Hulk villain.
Yeah,
just because
Peter David wrote him so dark in this. So dark, Drew.
Well, yeah, because the thing that I love is that Marvel trusts Peter David enough to literally kind of fill in the blanks of this, which is probably one of the darkest versions of the Hulk we've ever seen. And I'm sorry, Peter David is still one of the best writers Marvel's ever had. I very rarely have ever been disappointed in something of his I've read. Like it's always funny and engaging, and just he never, everybody feels real. He never really shies from the darkness. He embraces his characters. Personally, Rich, if you really enjoyed that, I recommend giving his X Factor a shot. That's always been one of my favorite X books. And
his Captain Marvel was absolutely amazing.
It was. And again, even his run on Aquaman. Say what you want about Aquaman. He did some great stuff with good old hook hand era Aquaman.
Was that New 52?
No, that was the 90s.
Yeah, that one's pretty good. But
let's make everybody extreme. Yeah.
Don't forget, and his
The
Supergirl
extreme
is
universe.
pretty good too. So,
I got a fun story about Peter David and Aquaman after the show.
oh boy. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Someone's gonna lose a hand, I can tell. But back to the Ultimate Universe. I mean, when you guys suggested this, I was like, yes.
Yeah. Now, Drew, there's a story behind this because this took years.
Yes, and I can answer all of that. So essentially, the story written by Damon Lindelof, who we know is, I guess, one of the main writers of Lost, did the story, and it started off in 2005. It was supposed to be a bi-monthly series, same 6 issues. But there was a lot of delays, and it appears that most of the delays was due to Leinil Francis Yu, the artist, primarily because he was doing the main series of Secret Invasion at that time. And as we know, because if you've ever read Secret Invasion, it's not only a big book, but it's a lot of work. And Leinil really, the story, you can say what you will about the storyline. Leinil's artwork has been solid the entire time. It's just the splash pages, the big one panels. Leinil just does a great job.
Look at that imagery that we're looking at right there on the screen.
His art in this is
when he
phenomenal.
When he was finally done,
blown away.
They re-released the stuff. I think like 2008, like late 2008. They re-released the first 2 issues that came out in 2006 because you got to catch everybody up. And basically everything was done, I want to say like mid 2009. So this did take a couple of years. And it's also interesting because I feel like it's about where this story takes place in the Ultimate Universe. Because it takes place during the events of Ultimates 2. Which is interesting because, again, if you're an Ultimate fan like me, you know where that comes from. Oh, nice background there, Brandon.
Knowing's half the battle.
Oh, you saw that? Sorry.
Oh yes.
Well, it's fine. I was like, wow, what a good background there. Yeah, but Brandon said something that's very true. The Ultimate Universe, as much as I love it, it was very inconsistent. There were a lot of good stories, but there were also ones that were just okay to being sometimes bad, because the point of the Ultimate Universe was it was a modern reimagining of characters without the years of continuity. So you didn't have all that history boggling down. You could start fresh, and since it was a parallel universe, you could take the characters in new directions, and that was thanks to Brian Michael Bendis and Mark Bagley with the Ultimate Spider-Man. That was thanks to Mark Millar and Brian Hitch, the Ultimates. And then Millar, who also relaunched the X-Men, which I know Brandon was a big fan of, the Ultimate X-Men that he did with Adam Kubert in the beginning, and then had a bunch of other artists, Kare Andrews, David Finch, a lot of greats. But yeah, there was a point that the Ultimate Universe was outselling Marvel.
It was awesome.
Jeremy, were you raising your hand before?
I was just saying that this is like one of the few stories of the Ultimates I've read, and now I kind of want to read more of the Ultimate
Jeremy,
Universe.
I will hook you up.
Yeah, Ultimates 1 and 2 are great stories.
Jeremy, I will make you a list.
I want to like slam some books down because this
was
fun.
Yeah, hold on. You've never even read like the Ultimates before, Jeremy?
No.
Oh my god.
No, I was big DC. I'm not like a huge Marvel aficionado.
I dip my toes, like I go where good stories are. I sniff those out,
Jeremy, I'm telling you, look up the first story arc for Ultimate Spider-Man, Ultimates, and Ultimate X-Men. I swear you won't be disappointed. Like, especially Ultimate
Don't go any farther than that.
That's where you stop.
Now
you see the word ultimatum, you stop reading.
Ultimate X-Men, is that when they made Peter, they really pushed him being an artist? And a painter?
Brandon, not really. No, right?
Maybe I'm
That
thinking of a
wasn't-
different storyline.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think so. Because that's the one where first thing, Wolverine is taller. He's not. He's like Hugh Jackman height.
Yeah,
that.
I mean that was done because of the movie's popularity.
Yeah, exactly. Well, because Mark Millar, the writer for that, his only exposure to the X-Men was a few stories he had read back in the day and the X-Men movies.
Mhm.
So all the X-Men are a little different. They're younger. The relationships are totally different. Their costumes are kind of more essentially, if you remember X-Men Evolution, it's kind of that's what inspired.
Yeah,
their
that's
first season.
yeah, more muted, and they have like a functionality to them. You know, sort of the same idea of them wearing like black leather in the first X-Men movie.
Yeah. But it's all great. I mean, honestly, the Ultimate Universe, I always recommend it to people who want to get into Marvel because the stories they were a wonderful collaboration of writer and artist. The stories just shone, and
And it was super refreshing, like you said before, Drew, that they didn't have the back history. So you were going into them like, okay, this is Wolverine, but
this isn't
you're learning about him now because he's different.
Oh yeah, and people have made the arguments that the Ultimate Wolverine is in some way darker than his mainstream counterpart, and there were definitely some moments where he was Brandon, you back me up. He was very villainous. That Logan did not give a fuck.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
just shorthanded,
I
he was a
couldn't
dick.
under-
He
I couldn't
really
understand his motive
Really
here, where he was just like, "I'm still gonna kill him,"
Oh yeah,
and like,
Well, just the beginning of this, how they're setting this up. You see poor Wolverine's already like ripped in half,
yeah,
and there's a lot of flashes
that
with
was
his
freaking awesome.
back and forth in time and history, but essentially
And I love how they even explain that.
they don't
somebody
tell you
was-
in this, but somehow Hulk has killed 800 people in New York, and obviously you need to read other storylines to know where and why that happened.
They definitely heavily reference that, and it's really nice that Damon Lindelof clearly did his homework, and because you have references to the previous storylines, like nothing there is there out of chance. Like you have like the Freddie Prinze Jr. later, that's a reference to the first book. The whole
to
stuff between
the
him and
Ultimates.
Venom.
The Ultimates, yeah.
That is
But-
so good. That
but
art.
I mean, as much as I do love the storyline, I mean, the real gem, in my opinion, is the artwork. Leinil, every page is stunning.
Beautiful.
Like just flat out gorgeous the way that he
I
draws.
know. And Wolverine discovers that his legs have been thrown 4 miles
up
away
a mountain.
up the mountain, and
Yeah.
he basically has to crawl his ass up because it would take way too long to grow new legs versus.
I
trying to get
actually
moved.
chuckled when I read that, like on this page when he's like, when he just goes 4 miles. Fucker through my legs 4 miles.
Yeah,
That's right.
Through
He
my
cusses a
legs
lot in
4
this.
miles. Like he says it to himself numerous times as he's clawing his way up the mountain. He's just like, well, they ain't gonna grow themselves back, Logan.
and then
Fury.
and then there's so much in 6 issues. They do so much with it, and that's why I've always said that this was really more one of, like Brandon, you said, this is more one of the better ones versus some of the other Ultimate storylines, which I have to say, despite what some of the creators wanted to do, they were very forgettable. Because
yeah, especially after you get past the initial run of creators that came on board with the Ultimate Comics label. When you when you no longer have Mark Miller, or Brian Michael Bendis doing what have you, and you start bringing in your like Jeff Loebs, that's when you start to see problems arise in that whole line.
we're not gonna. Okay, moving on. We're not going to talk
Yeah. Oh, really? I mean, we're going to talk about the Ultimate line. We're going to talk warts and all, man.
Now, was the Ultimate Universe the first integration of the Samuel L. Jackson,
Yes.
Nick Fury character?
First iteration of it.
Yes.
Because Samuel Jackson actually, it's all, he's never made any bones about the fact that he loves and reads comic books, like, since forever, before it was cool to do it. Samuel L. Jackson was like, oh yeah, you can always find me at Golden Apple Comics. Like, I'm there all the time. Like, he made no bones about it.
Yeah.
And they knew that he was a fan. Mark Miller and was it Brian Hitch?
Brian Hitch, yeah.
Yeah. And they actually reached out to Samuel L. Jackson through Marvel, and they were like, hey, listen, like, this is just going to be like a fun, cheeky thing, but would you be okay if we made Nick Fury in this new, like, updated Avengers book we're doing? It's like hard nosed and takes place in modern day. We have him look like you. Like, if we have it be very similar to how you look. And he was like, basically, he was like, hell yeah, motherfucker, go right ahead. You know? And
Yeah. And
that's how it went down. Like, he was, didn't license his likeness or anything like that. And it worked to his advantage, because when push came to shove and they decided to do their little nudge, nudge, wink, wink, which ended up birthing the MCU at the end of Iron Man's credits, they reached out to Nick Fury to play that. It was just supposed to be like a fun wink and nod to the fanboys out there. And here he is now playing Nick Fury for how many years and in how many different projects?
Oh, absolutely.
It's been, financially beneficial for him.
Yeah, and he's going to be reprising that in the new Secret Invasion miniseries, which we'll get to that another show.
I think he'll probably be the only actor that'll be able to hold on to his role for the next 20 years.
Pretty much. Well, and then on top of it, it's such a great, it's just the whole, the Ultimate Universe became the blueprint for the MCU. So there's so much of the Ultimate Universe there, like the way that Thor looks, the way that the team operates. I mean, the way that Tom Holland's Spider-Man is, it's very Ultimate Spider-Man.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, they even took Miles Morales' friend Genki from Ultimate Spider-Man and turned him into Ned in the MCU movies.
Yeah. And again, even with this, we know who Jen Walters and Betty Ross are, but in this universe, she's just a scientist who wants to tinker with the serum, and she's Banner's ex-girlfriend, who in this universe has a really tragic connection to the Hulk, who in this universe is a raging, gigantic murderer and psychopath who is not afraid to eat people.
Well, I think it's also important to note that aside from Nick Fury getting hit, Samuel Jackson, giving them basic permission to use his likeness and then playing the character, that's not the only thing they decided to like pull specifically thematically from the Ultimate Comics. And that is everything that happens with the Ultimates and a lot of the super well, I shouldn't say superhero, but a lot of the mutates as opposed to mutants, mutates, people who gained their powers through like an accident or whatever, is that they all are kind of tied into the Super Soldier Project Rebirth. And that's something that the MCU has done as well. Especially with the Incredible Hulk. That's why Bruce Banner becomes the Hulk in this, is because he was actually kind of doing what they imply to be the same thing in the movies, is that he took the super soldier serum that Dr. Erskine made, and they were still trying. It's not the serum that's the issue. It's they never figured out the Vita-Rays process that activates it. And because Bruce Banner was an expert in gamma radiation, he figured gamma was the key. And so he injected himself with the serum and then doused himself with gamma rads.
And don't forget, he injected himself with his own Hulk serum again. Because in this universe, Bruce was already the Hulk. He was already the Hulk. He was already, still working with S.H.I.E.L.D., keeping everything hush-hush. Again, that's all Ultimate stuff, which if you're just like Jeremy below me, you've never read that stuff, please
Yeah,
do
yourself a favor.
worth it. But back to this story, this is a different way to interpret essentially the Wolverine Hulk rivalry. He's tasked by Fury to take him out because, as you've seen, the Hulk was executed for his crimes, but it didn't stick.
They nuked him. They nuked him, and he survived.
Right, he did. He survived, which would later tie into Events Ultimates 2, which again, kids, please read and get through it. It's amazing. So this is them saying we need to save face, because if people find out he's alive, that makes S.H.I.E.L.D. look like chumps. So you're going to hire the best killer in the Ultimate Universe because he can't die. You're going to hire, Wolverine, the X-Men's little private assassin.
The best there is at what he does, and what he does isn't very nice.
Yeah, and again, like the interactions, but like for me, I just love the disdain that Betty has for Logan.
Oh yeah.
Despite all her history, she still loves Bruce. And I think that's the sick tragedy. That's the cruel irony in this universe is Betty and Bruce are lovers in tragedy, but not in a way that we're used to in the Marvel universe, the mainstream one. They're both linked because they are literally a toxic superhuman relationship.
Oh yeah.
And it's just amazing how this spins. And of course,
comparatively to the regular Marvel universe in the comics, she's just trying to be there supportive of Bruce the whole time,
right?
And he is the victim. But in this, they are both negative.
They're both the victim and the enabler.
It's called codependency. There you
go.
That's how that works.
Pretty much.
It is interesting to see how Betty is trying to fight for the safety of Bruce, even though they're talking about killing the Hulk. And that, we're used to Jennifer Walters being his cousin, and here she's just like
a scientist.
Next generation Bruce Banner. She's tinkering around with this same stuff that he was playing around with, and it's an interesting juxtaposition. I will say I wasn't expecting it.
And again, the scene with him and it's again, the book takes the time, which I do appreciate. Like, you see what happened after Bruce survived the botched execution. You saw, you see him trying to kind of essentially do the Bill Bixby, run away from his problems. But in every country, he can't help himself. He just gets mad. I will admit, one of my more favorites is one where he basically gets back at all the people making fun of him for eating tofurkey.
They actually, I believe
do that joke every day.
The alias that he uses at that point in time too is Bixby.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So nice fun little reference to the Incredible Hulk television show that used to be on.
Yep. And then even if you move a little forward, you got that. I mean, look, there's that fanboy service right there. But look at that. Just Hulk. Just
he's taken over the not the mausoleum. I'm sorry, the temple. The monks.
What a guy!
He's got
very Maestro-esque, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, and then
first thing I thought of.
I was kind of confused by the overtly sexualized nature of some of this book.
Oh, buddy, wait until you read the Ultimates.
Oh boy, okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, Jesus Christ, there's a lot of boob in this.
Wait until you read Hulk's rampage through New York City.
Oh boy. Yeah. Thank you for reminding me. An article I needed to pitch.
You're in for a real treat if this is really throwing off your equilibrium.
Especially when you see what the Wasp does to get Hulk's attention. And Brandon knows. But moving on, in the second book, you have it's basically explaining how he got there, which I thought was really nice. For me, it was I like the philosophy. He's talking to essentially who is the Dalai Lama, and the whole chicken and the egg, and it's a really interesting way to look at Bruce's relationship with the Hulk. Like, did you come first or did the Hulk come first? Which has always been a thing that a lot of the great Hulk storylines have debated. The whole, there was a Hulk before he was ever doused in gamma rays.
Yeah, but look, like this art, like go back one, Brandon. I'm sorry, or I'm sorry, forward one rather.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, right here. The art on these 2 pages.
I know it's great.
So phenomenal. From like the musculature in the Hulk's neck and the rage, and you can feel it coming off of him. And then
worms going
that
through
same
his
bottled rage with Bruce on the right, but contained in his Bruce self. It's, oh my God, it's magnificent.
Leinil does great work.
Yeah, I will say too, just as we're going through here and looking at these pages, each one of these instances that we're seeing him show up as Hulk is one of the instances that's listed by Fury with quote mysterious deaths, huge casualties.
Yep. That's just the Hulk in that universe. He's the powerhouse.
France, Ireland, of course. Ireland is where they're like, "What you eating there, Bixby?
Yeah.
What kind of sandwich?
A tofurkey.
Leave him alone, Pat. What? I just know what kind of sandwich our friend is eating. Hey, pal, what you eating there, Bixby? Tell us. Be a big boy and tell us." Oh, he was certainly a big boy, all right.
Yeah. Big bites,
the things they showed Wolverine as proof of Hulk's continuing existence was a jar full of his excrement that they were able to collect. And in that excrement was somebody's finger. And here in this instance, we find out, oh, that finger belonged to Pat, who was giving him shit, no pun intended, for eating a tofurkey sandwich.
Yep. And then we're again, we're moving forward. We see him in Tibet. Poor donkey.
I know.
Yeah. And then again, I don't want to summarize this because I do want our readers to read the book for themselves. No, I just felt like everything was really moved up because it could have been so easy to just make this a big action thing where just Wolverine is slicing up Hulk and he's knocking him through mountains and whatnot. I thought the story really moved well, and it had its good pauses and such.
I appreciated that there was some of that because a lot of these you get like Thanos versus Hulk or whatever versus whoever, and it never happened. Like the fight never happens. You sit there and you're just like, it's just a story of and you're just like, God damn it, this dude, they go at it and it's good.
I mean, from page 1 for crying out loud.
Like you start off and he's torn in half. It was great, glorious. And then the story of I forget, is it issue 3 where Wolverine goes back and tells how he got to there? Like that is just great.
Yeah.
Well,
and that's one of the things I appreciate about this too is the fact that in the first issue it's Wolverine who is our narrator.
Yeah.
The entire time.
And
then we switch to Bruce for the second issue.
And he's breaking up, he's kind of doing a Deadpool. He's kind of like, no, a little too far back.
Yeah, go back. Hold on.
You know what? You figure it out, okay?
And the time jumps work great because sometimes that stuff can be confusing, but boy, they a delicate dance he weaved, but man, it works.
Yeah.
On many levels.
Yeah, I mean, come on. When have you ever seen the Hulk offer Logan a Cocoa?
Yeah, right. That was great. You want a Cocoa, Logan?
Have we gotten to the point where he's back at the mountain, at the top of the mountain, meeting Logan there to get his legs?
We're getting there. We're both
okay.
there.
We're not quite there
yet.
Yeah. So we're moving through.
Jumping ahead. I'm excited. It's a great story.
It's right.
It's right here. It's next. Yeah.
That's why I was saying it's just we're right there.
You want me to eat your right or your left?
But this is what you guys were just talking about. Like, where the fuck do I start? Not here. Back up. No, keep going. Too far. Already done this part. Stop. Here's good.
Yeah.
That movie Sophie's Choice. Yeah, me neither. Like,
Yeah.
fucking great. Like,
And-
what, you want me to eat your left leg or your right leg? What?
And then
And then I realized he was serious.
yeah,
Like, the fuck?
yeah.
But I mean, the fact that Logan answers him, and then even Hulk's like, "Huh? Wait, what?"
Are you for real? Like, you are sick. And then you have where they're talking, and it's so, again, you have like that kind of nerd Hulk moment there, and then you see what he says to piss him off, and it
Oh,
is
that was, dude,
Oh,
right
yeah.
before he says it too. I'm reading the book and I'm like, you're getting right to the moment. And I'm like, oh no, he didn't.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like,
It wasn't this
oh,
that pissed him off. It wasn't this that pissed
not
him
this,
off.
not this.
I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, isn't that just like kind of Wolverine's base level anyway? That's what he does to piss everybody off.
Very
For
much
real.
be an
Yeah.
ass.
Like he switched bodies with.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, I was gonna say, should I fuck it? It's one issue. He switches bodies with Spider-Man and Ultimate Spider-Man, too. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, I
And
forgot about that.
yeah,
Oh my
and
god!
one of
I
the first
totally
things
forgot about
fucking Logan does is he sees Mary Jane. He's like, "Hey, what's happening? I'm actually a 140-year-old mutant inside of this Spider Boy.
And,
Want to get
no,
dirty?
Let's do this.
That's
Let's turn
great.
this mother out."
and it's pretty funny.
Meanwhile, Peter's back at the X Mansion, like, why am I so hairy?
Not even that. He's just freaking out in Logan's body.
That's
And it's
great.
so funny. But yeah, so that, and then honestly, what the purpose of the Ultimate Universe was to take the characters in new directions. Switching it up with who they made as the Ultimate She-Hulk was a great move.
Yeah, I
Like,
did not see that coming.
yeah, that to me, when you realize it, it was just some really interesting storytelling on Lindelof's
And
part.
like, holy crap,
Yeah, and
clothes
then
are falling off.
and then this tying into the main story, we get a better understanding of where she's at. And then what I enjoy is that her becoming She-Hulk was simply because of a little comment that Iron Man said to her.
Yep.
Was it just, you need to let us take care of it because
Mhm.
we're superpowers and you aren't. You're a normal person. You don't
understand the responsibility and the weight
Yeah.
of what we can do. Yeah.
Yeah,
You have no idea what it's like to have power.
Right. And then what I also enjoy, and I wrote an article about this, is you have this moment where it looks like the ultimate Captain America was kind of for registration.
Yeah.
Yeah, the exact opposite stances.
Yeah, exactly. And Tony's like, fuck that, man. You know?
Right?
And I wrote
Have
about
everyone register, Steve? That's insanity.
that. Yeah,
Like
exactly.
a
The
car.
anti-Civil War.
And she does this whole thing, and I'm sorry, the how Jen manipulated everybody, and then she basically, I was like, you tricked Nick Fury. Like, do you have any idea how dangerous of an enemy you've made?
Dude,
Like,
that
you
was
duped Fury.
fucking hilarious. I had to go back and make sure I was reading the right comic. I'm like, what is going on here?
Oh yeah, Star Trek.
Yeah.
I was just like, wow. Like, that was one of the moments like, yep, this is dating this book a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, I went back and reread as well, just because I was
Yeah.
like, is that really? Did he say that? And, oh, yep, no, he did. He like
He did.
he pulls out the fucking recorder. I was like, you son of a bitch.
Yep. It was
was,
really great. And then again, like the fact that Betty was calling out Fury is like, where I come from is that you come from Connecticut, man. He's
Yeah.
like, damn. And he got jokes.
Yeah, like Connecticut's fucking idyllic. I
Yeah.
don't know, guys. I've driven through New London. Don't you fucking try to piss on my leg and tell me it's raining, all right? It was like a
no, but-
Dave Chappelle sketch. I'm like, gun store, liquor store, gun store. Where the fuck am I right now?
Yeah. But it was, yeah. And then again, like, God, when she turns, that's just, oh God, that was beautiful. Especially just the whole thing where, again, she tells him, it's like, you tell Tony Stark, I get it now. Or
Yeah.
was that as good for you as it was for me? And I'm just
Yeah.
She goes like through a orgasm metamorphosis.
Oh
Pretty
yeah.
much.
Like insane.
And then the fact that Hulk recognizes her, And his first instinct is, "You broke my heart. Now I want to break you." I'm like, "Oh boy."
Yeah.
No, I'll break Betty.
Even Wolverine was like, "I'm getting the fuck out of here."
Whoa, break Betty. Bam, lamb. Nope. Not.
But and then on top
All
of
right,
it,
all right. You
And
guys
this was
gotta
fun
tell me,
too.
do they
I'm
go
sorry.
back and talk about the panda? Like,
Okay.
do I
Let's talk
get
about it.
more about the panda somewhere?
No, this is the only time we see the panda, but it's just, this is again,
Sorry that the artists and writers couldn't pander to your every whim.
get out.
All right, that's a wrap on Brandon,
But
everyone.
to have a panda as Wolverine's spirit animal is pretty damn funny.
Oh,
And not,
but they're vicious fucking animals. Like,
and
don't
not just
fuck around
that,
with the panda.
and not just that. Well, when he tried to pop his claws, he had flowers. You know, I was like, you can't harm your spirit animal in your dreamscape, little Wolverine.
Not with that attitude.
No, it's great. And then this one also made a wonderful case about Logan's healing factor. I think his healing factor in some ways was a little bit more powerful here than it was in the mainstream. I mean, he's literally ahead.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we saw
Doesn't
in
he have to
mainstream
breathe?
universe beheading.
No, they
Logan.
explained that right
Well,
there.
sort of, but like, it's still like,
Yeah, he said maybe
even
your
in a
power isn't
vacuum,
about healing, but it is about surviving.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
and-
but he says, "Do you know how you're breathing right now?" And he's like, "Magic." You're breathing through your skin. Like,
yeah,
which I was like, because as soon as he started talking, he was just ahead. I'm like, all right, listen, I'm willing to read a comic book where this guy can heal and has claws that pop out, and this other dude turns big and green when he's angry, and now the girl that he used to date is also like bigger and greener and angrier. But this is bullshit.
yeah. I just feel like it was very different, and it was. Plus, also on top of it, what you like is that Nick Fury does not have friends. Every friend he has, he is, I will fuck you over at any chance if you get in my way. And
This
Logan
was
is
the
like that.
this was the first time I realized Forge's name. I was like, oh my god, that
You
makes
never
so
understood
much.
why they
Did you
called
think
him
he was
Forge?
French and they called him Forgay or
I
something?
was just like,
Forge.
Forge, and like, I'm just like, oh, that really makes sense now.
Yeah, it's the maestro and Forget.
Jeez.
Get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
It's
so
Italian.
I mean, oh my god. Like I said, there were small moments. Like I loved when him and Ford were talking and he makes the references and he's like, didn't take you as a Star Trek fan. I'm like, that's dated. It's the kid from the Goonies.
That was funny.
Oh yeah.
That was great. And then even this, where Logan's like, "Are you guys fighting or are you fucking?" Like, I'm confused. You like again, this whole again, great. Everything is like, I don't think there was any point I didn't understand what was going on, and I think that's a real
Yeah.
credit to the writer. You know, everything was explained well. Everything moved. Nothing. I was like, "Oh, okay, come on." You know, and it was just fun.
There was an interesting bit here with Logan when he was locked up by Fury. Something that had never occurred to me before seeing it in this comic,
Mhm.
but they put restraints around his hands,
Yeah.
which at first glance you'd be like, oh, okay, good luck. You just put restraints on the hands of a guy that pops out adamantium claws, but he actually says in it like he can't make fists inside of the gauntlets that they put his hands in, and he can only pop his claws when he makes a fist.
Yeah.
I never thought of the mechanics of it. I never thought of it like, oh, he could probably only do that when he pulls down on his own fingers like that. It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's like one of those little details that they were able to kind of like throw in there that makes a lot of sense, that once you see it, it's like, oh, how do I not incorporate this like forevermore whenever I think about this character?
Yeah, totally. So, but then, the whole thing moving on, but then, I mean, the last issue is really where everything just comes to hell, and that's just a fun ride. I mean, I don't know what's better in it. It's where he's one, how he proves he gets through a metal detector, which
That was fun.
yeah,
It's made of soap. It's all right.
The fact that he's literally basically fighting Betty as She-Hulk completely naked was just amusing as hell to me. But the fact that you really see how vicious Ultimate Wolverine is, like he's literally, if you don't do this, I will fucking.
Dude, yeah, he's
Bruce.
fucking.
And she took out one of his eyes, and it's literally, and he literally like, if you don't transform and put that collar on, I will kill you. And I
will pop this third claw, and that will be that.
And I love how they even explain him growing back his eye takes a little bit longer because it's more complicated fucking tissues.
Yeah. That in itself is a reference to Wolverine, his patch identity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I thought that the second I saw the eye patch, I'm like, oh, we're hitting some of the classics here. Nice.
We go into Madripoor.
And even this here, with the Bruce collared on the plane and whatnot, it was just great.
Talk about a dangerous place to be confronting him.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But I mean, maybe one of the safest as well.
Yeah, because there's only so much the Hulk could do in the air. But then again,
oh, I mean, I don't think that Wolverine necessarily cares about the collateral damage.
That's true. Neither of them seem to really. Well, Bruce does now, it seems.
Yeah, but
it is interesting that they managed to close the airplane door again after he got out. I don't think that's a thing, but I'll allow it.
Universe.
It might have been.
Yeah, like I just like how Wolverine gets out of the plane and then clearly sticks his claws through the side of the plane where somebody is definitely sitting because it's right over a window, and just closes the door to the plane behind him. It literally says "kathunk" for the onomatopoeia on the page. I was like, all right. I mean, he's a dick in a lot of other aspects, but very considerate of you to close the door behind you, Logan. We appreciate it.
And then it's the whole drop. And then at the end, it's just where Fury is waiting for him. Well, this is awkward.
Well, ain't this awkward?
Well, yeah. And it's funny because Brandon, I think this is I think this series is the last time we saw Betty Ross. We didn't really see her.
Yeah.
Right? So kind of what Fury said was true. Like she's his blackmail.
Oh yeah.
Because she wasn't going to be doing PR for the Ultimates anymore. She's essentially turned herself into a Hulk.
Yep.
So she's he's another playing card. Yeah, she's his leverage to keep the Hulk in line.
Yeah, and clearly it worked.
Gamma harlot.
Yeah, but I'm sorry. Even at the end, I swear, like fucking Bruce got the best of them. My soul got ripped out a long time. I thought you would grow everything. Fuck you, Banner.
Fuck you, Banner.
Yeah.
Fuck you, bub.
It's gonna carry him like a fucking football.
Yeah.
Jumping around. I wanted to see that.
I mean, I like the fact that Wolverine's the one that suggested it. Like he's like,
nothing's beneath him. He's like, dude, this is a long fucking walk.
Tuck me under your arm like a football and drop me off in the nearest town. Oh, Logan, so efficient.
Give me a second. Need to catch my wind.
But thank goodness that they finished this story, because for a while there, it was not looking very good.
Oh, really?
And because they made a lot of jokes in other Ultimate comics about like the gap between when the issues were mid-completed and that they made a lot of jokes. I think like Ultimate X-Men 97, Wolverine is talking to Colossus and he's like, man, you should have seen what I did to the Hulk after I healed up. That was epic. And Ultimates 3, references the unfinishedness, because I think Wolverine faces like another version of the Hulk, and he was like, I wish you were the Hulk. Me and him got unfinished business. And then I'm sorry to say it, Brandon, I'm gonna have to reference this. An Ultimatum, they Wolverine and Hulk meet up again, and he's like, I remember you. Hulk tore you in half, and Wolverine's like, I really hope we weren't going to revisit that again. Before Jean Grey kind of reminds him, hi, bigger fish than you two. Can we focus here?
Cosmic
Yeah, Rich.
Yeah, hello. Jeff Loeb is in the middle of trying to destroy all of the goodwill with every single comic book reader that this line has created. Can we get to it, please?
Yeah, Rich, do you remember back in the day when I was talking about if we had where we all reviewed One More Day, but we were drunk doing it?
Yeah.
Yeah, which I still really want to do at some point because I think that would be the best, most R-rated splash pages ever. Just 4 issues, and by the end of it, we're dead.
Can you guys let me know when you do that? Because I would like to.
Yeah, totally. You see, Brandon. See, if we were to do that, that would be like a bi-monthly thing, and one of the books we would do would be probably we'd review Ultimatum. It would be like a drinking contest.
My God,
like, can you imagine? I'm like, wow, the only thing that came good out of Ultimatum is this.
Yeah, for real.
Is I checked my liver and it's still intact. But no, like Rich, it's bad, man.
It's not good.
It's not good.
It's the opposite of good.
Rich, it literally what I'm talking about is Ultimate book is literally considered one of the worst Marvel comics that has ever been published.
I remember Ultimatum, but I don't know that I don't know that I read that series.
Yeah,
I mean,
if you want to find, the one saving grace in it is it's probably one of Finch's best artwork. Like it's beautiful. However, story-wise,
garbage.
It tried to level the playing field so other characters could grow and whatnot. It just
failed.
It really did, and
it was too much at once for what they wanted to do.
It was also a lot of randomness and a lot of things that really didn't fit with the vibe. Like the Ultimate Universe was very dark.
Yeah, it was a kitchen sink story arc.
Yeah,
it was just
just flush it all down.
Jeff Loeb threw everything into that, and instead of resolving any sort of threads and opening the doorway for new stuff, it just soured everything that it touched.
And the Ultimate Universe, Rich and Jeremy, it never really came back from that. Right. Like it would still went on, and it's Bendis still wrote Ultimate Spider-Man. Mark Millar came back for at that time, which was the Avengers. So it was the Ultimate Avengers. It was his Black Ops team was the Avengers. Mark Millar came back for that. All those were great. Even the
Ultimates 2, Ultimate X-Men, Ultimate Spider-Man. Is that it? Is that all the good stuff?
No. Ultimate Fantastic Four.
Yeah, I would say up till Mike Carey's run, to be quite honest.
Yeah, not the whole thing.
Yeah, Rich, I'll make you a list because I shit you not, I pretty much own all of it. Except
I remember the Ultimate Spider-Man.
Well, the thing is with Ultimate Fantastic Four, I don't know, I would recommend reading the whole thing only because of the fact that the maker.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair, but Jeremy, the same thing. Like honestly, I can make a list for both of you guys if you do want to have like kind of start going into the Ultimate Universe, because you gotta.
Well, that was definitely a good introduction.
Yeah, you gotta paint yourself.
I was like, wow, this is really kind of cool.
And
if the artwork keeps up too, like that.
Oh, wait till you see Brian Hitch's stuff in Ultimates, man. You're gonna lots.
Yeah. But also, Brendan, it'd be another good thing for you guys to do for do Spider-Man when Peter and Miles met. That's a great story.
Oh, wait, hold on. Like Spider-Verse or
no, Spider-Man. It was when
yeah. That's not a bad one. We're gonna be doing an Edge of Spider-Verse comic book coming up.
Nice.
Because I'm trying to do some horror theme stuff coming up for.
Are you gonna do the Spider one?
Yeah, we're gonna do the.
That one was creepy as fuck. That was
good. That's exactly. That's why I was like, oh, this is a great chance to do that.
You should also do that first arc, the Web of Spider-Man, the Garth Ennis, John McCrea one, the the Million. You remember the bully one?
Yep, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's perfect Halloween.
Yeah,
But
we're trying to stick with alternate stuff.
no, I know,
too,
but I'm just
so.
saying that's a good.
Yeah, no,
one.
it is a good. I know exactly what you're talking about. I would love to talk about the other, but it's canon. Damn it.
But overall, in terms of Ultimate, because we're coming across the 1.5 mark, we should try to end on that, or at least 145.
How many vibranium pop claws are we rating these?
Hold on, I'm trying to think of this. I'm trying to think of the best thing we can say for this one, because some part of me wants to say how many gerbils this is, and I'm like, no, it's too on the nose. Or tuning forks, or
angry X's, angry green X's. How many angry green X's?
I got a better one. How many cups of cocoa? There you go.
Ooh, I'd love it.
How many 2 hot cups of cocoa?
2 hot cups. Yeah. Right. God damn it, Steve. Makes it too hot. Personally, for me, I'm going to give this, as a fan of the Ultimate Universe, rereading this, I remembered how much fun it is. I'm going to give it a solid 4.5. I mean, it's a great story. The artwork is stupid. It's literally one of Leinil's best. And I've loved him ever since I first saw his work on Superman Birthright that he did with Mark Waid. And that is gorgeous work. You know what? I give it like a 4.3. It's not perfect, but it's pretty fun. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. So 4.3 for me. 4.3 cups of cocoa.
Nice. What'd you think, Jeremy?
I'm gonna do the thing, and I've never done this. Nobody else I think's ever done this. I'm giving it 5 because it was like the perfect introduction into a universe that I've never read before. I had a lot of fun with it. The art was amazing. I was completely like involved from the beginning to the end. Each part of the story I was laughing, having fun. Like really, I took a break right before he got to the part where he said what he said to Bruce about Betty, and I was just like, oh my god, this is really good. And I got up, took a walk around, like made a coffee, and like sat back down with it, and was like finished through that one, got to the next one. Like it was an easy read. It was fun. Yeah, I've definitely a 5.
Okay, cool.
Nice.
All right, Rich, what about you?
For me, I mean, I suggested this story. I loved this story when it came out. It was heartbreaking that it took a couple of years, but to finally get back to it and reread the whole thing in one semblance was amazing. I feel strong about it, so I'm going to give it a 4.65.
Cool.
Not 100% perfect, but I mean, it's a great, enjoyable read. The art is remarkable. And just another fun Hulk story. And who doesn't like Dark Banner? Dark Banner.
What about you, Brendan?
I would give it probably 4.25 cups of cocoa. I'm familiar with the Ultimate Universe, and it's been a while since I revisited it, and it was really nice. I had never read this particular story before.
Oh, nice.
And so for me to jump in to check it out so I could actually talk about it, I pulled it up and I was like, oh my god, it's 5 issues. Did I give myself enough time to do this? Not that 5 issues is necessarily anything, but I had no idea what the pacing of this story was going to be. And I think we all can agree that sometimes, even if you want to read something, it can feel like a chore.
Sure.
Just trying to get through parts of it. I didn't get that from this. I read it and it sailed by, man. I was actually surprised when I came up on the very end. I was like, whoa, hold on. That just like snuck up on me.
Right.
But I don't give it a full blown 5, just because of the fact that they put forth some fun ideas in here, and I like the outside editorialization that because we never saw Betty Ross again, it was likely because of this. But I think something a little bit more concrete outside of this one miniseries might have been a little bit better, just like looking at big picture stuff. which ended up being a bit of an issue for Ultimate Comics, like we said altogether. But man, this was a lot of fun. I'm not ready to just hand out like 4s to 5s on any book I read, and
Sure.
for this to fall clearly into that category, I was so pleasantly surprised. I really was. It didn't feel like the sort of schlock. Wow.
That's right outside my window.
Holy crap.
I was like,
nice.
I was like, Rich, I loved you in Grease too.
Grease too. My God, the best Grease.
Who's that guy?
This comic
do it for your country.
Could have very easily been a schlock fest. It could have just been slug after slug, and just no real substance to it. And the fact, like we were saying throughout the entirety of the show, that they really paced it very evenly, and the juxtaposition between now and then and narrators, they had a lot of balls up in the air, and they juggled them expertly. I probably would have given it a 5 if there had been just like a little bit more of a dynamic ending, like a little bit more of a climactic ending for the two characters. Like I understand like the whole Butch Cassidy and Sundance thing at the very end kind of deal, but I feel like a big story like this should have had just a slightly bigger finish. I don't know what that is. I'm not here to try to figure out the story point that it could have been. It just felt a little anticlimactic.
Especially since we know, Brandon, where like we've read Ultimates, so we know where the Hulk ends up in terms of the Ultimates. We know that Wolverine eventually ends up back with the X-Men, so we know that it wasn't just like, Logan, where'd you go? Out.
Yeah.
There's definitely that, but I agree with you. Like, the Ultimate Universe lived on, but yet we never saw anything of Betty, and she technically was another Hulk. So,
yeah, that there I think there was opportunity there to do a little bit more with the Hulk in the Ultimate Universe, because of what they set forth, and I just find it a little disheartening that I wasn't truly aware of it until I read this, even though I had read so many of the other Ultimate books. And retroactively now I'm like, oh shit, like that really sucks. Like that would have been a really interesting plot point altogether. And they never used it. They had it right there. It was in their bank. And instead we end up getting just crap later on. And but regardless, like they could have easily ended this with like
I'm
a
not
bit more of
tainted
a
with all the ending. I'm
maybe
just like,
maybe if they had ended this with a little bit more of like the bleak ending that Betty was getting, then it would have given you that like chill to leave off
maybe
on.
like show her like down in a cell somewhere.
Yeah, and that could have seeded it a bit more for like, oh, maybe we see more in the future. Obviously, that was not the case, but like to me, that seems like a missed opportunity.
Maybe like one big splash page at the end.
Yeah,
like
exactly. Like her locked in the cell, like looking out the window somewhere. Yeah, like that,
it's
something like that.
Different people's perception, Brandon. Because like for me, that whole last page, that made me feel like I wanted to see those guys now do a TV show and have it be a buddy comedy. And I could see them like being younger or being like in college together and fucking with each other all the time and still being kind of dark.
And that's and I get that, but on like the other side of that coin, for me, it's like that would never happen because these are not two dudes who would be buddy or even all that funny with one another. It would just be death and destruction, like through and through. So like
that could be funny.
that'd be a fun like Adult Swim like 15-minute cartoon, I think. But otherwise, like I said, like they were clearly going for a Western thing, like going off into the sunset together.
Sure.
I get it. I've seen Shane, for crying out loud, but I feel like if they kind of ended it on a little bit more of like a gasp or
Yeah,
full on
kind of like more of a
moment.
kind of like more of a downer ending.
Yeah, something that snaps you back to the reality of some of the shit that you just saw. Like, this is all fine and dandy. Like, oh, Hulk's still alive,
But
and
Betty is.
Wolverine's still alive. But Betty just like literally destroyed her life, and it's
And he loves
honestly
Betty.
because she wanted to make sure that Bruce didn't get killed.
Right.
Like,
he ruined his life because of her. So now it's kind of the cycle is complete. So
mutual destruction.
basically.
Yeah. But that's just my own bag. If it had maybe done something a little bit more, I'd probably jump it up to 5, honestly, because everything else about this was damn near perfect.
Well, I will say this: like, if they ever do, if we ever review any of the other Ultimate stuff, Brandon, we'll definitely have you here, especially if it's any Ultimate Spider-Man stuff.
Oh my God, please.
Absolutely.
Hey, I just thought of a news thing while we were finishing up here. Did you guys hear that they're officially retiring James Earl Jones, but
the voice,
the rights so that they can continue using his voice into the Star Wars universe until Infinity and beyond?
Honestly,
wow.
I mean, listen, 45 years is a hell of a run, and honestly, I mean, listen, that man, did his part. That's the voice you hear when you hear Vader.
Do you guys hear music?
It's just in your head, Jeremy.
Do you guys hear anybody playing Holding Out for a Hero? Is that just the theme music that's always running in my head? Oh, just me? Never mind then.
It's very symphonic, whatever it is.
I'm sorry. I can kind of see him listening to that and kind of doing little Kevin Bacon Footloose dance while he's harvesting. They just
why not?
Holding out for a hero to the morning light. He's got to be fast, and he's got
out on my little tractor.
Yeah, exactly. And he's got to be high as a kite.
My foot's stuck in the pedal. God damn it, I'm stuck. I can't get out.
Oh my God.
So that was the one part of the many moments in Footloose. I was like, I'm sorry, call it bullshit. Who needs their construction equipment with keys in it for teenagers to just engage in the worst game of chicken ever?
My God.
Like,
all right, well, I think we've reached
we're at the wrap-up point.
We're on Footloose.
a limit. We've gone to plaid now. We're no longer talking about comic books and the like. We've gone to Kevin Bacon-esque dancing while trimming plants. So let's start off telling everybody where we can find one another. Rich,
hey, you can find me on the TikTok. Velvet Joker 1. Instagram, I am Velvet Joker 2021. And you can find me here every Tuesday on the award-winning Splash Pages at 8 p.m. or wherever you find your podcast that you like to listen to, watch, etc.
Excellent. Echo. Jeremy, Jar Jar Jeremy.
Comic book lovers, buy, sell, trade, and auction on the Facebooks. If you want to buy, sell comics and stuff, you can do it there. And if you're looking to do an online poll, box of comics with an X at the end, that they'll get you all your stuff, your weekly poll and stuff. They're really good.
All right, and Mr. Drew.
Hi everyone. You can find me here on Tuesdays on social medias. I do stuff with The Dorkening, stuff with Screen Rant, on places, on things. And I don't know, kick off your Sunday shoes. Thank you.
Footloose.
I hope they land on Kenny Loggins. Hey everyone, my name is Brandon Powers, aka Powerful Brandon. If you feel so inclined, come on over to the Facebook group Powers Combined. We're a group of dorks that just like to get together, share memes, info, good times, laughs to be had by all. Our number one rule there is don't be a jerk. If you violate that, you will be booted immediately. You can follow me on social media. On Twitter, I'm at Brandon's Powers, and on Instagram, it's This Brandon Has Powers. You can normally find me Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. on the Dorkening Wednesday Night Show. And I also do a couple of podcasts. One is The Dork Night with Leo Pond and Justin Cooper, in which we discuss and dissect all things Batman. And the other one is Comics Paradox, in which we discuss alternate reality tales and takes like Elseworlds, What Ifs, as well as story arcs and storylines like Armageddon 2001 or Amalgam Comics. We do that every Sunday. It's released bi-weekly, so you'll get Dork Night one Sunday and then Comics Paradox the next. That's 8 a.m. and you can find 8 a.m. on Sundays, and you can find them wherever fine podcasts are broadcast. And aside from that, well, that's the wrong format. I keep doing that. Everybody, have a great night.
Peace out. Thanks for coming by, guys.
Bye, everyone. Watch your Hulks.